enjoyed that. That was Fly Away Medley, a combination of many old American spirituals, folk tunes, and hymn tunes. You'll be hearing a lot more American folk tunes, spirituals, and hymn tunes tonight. That's the core of our program. The first half of our program is going to feature a whole bunch of works by living composers. Earlier in 2015, I founded a company called Choir Unlimited to publish sheet music for choirs. I myself have written a lot of arrangements for the choirs I work with, and many of my friends who are choir conductors and directors have written pieces for their choirs too. And what happens when you write a piece for your choir is they sing it, and it goes well, and then it gets stuck in the back of a drawer or a hard drive for the next 15 years and never gets touched again. So I started the company with the idea of sharing arrangements with each other, performing works by each other's for each other's choirs, and writing for each other's groups. And I've been very blessed with Fountain of the Sun to be able to commission several composers for world premiere works that were first premiered here on this stage with this audience. So we have 5 songs from the composers in my network that we're going to share with you in the beginning of the program here, including one of my originals. This next one is Sally Gardens. This composer, Nathan Richard, lives in Scottsdale here in Arizona. He teaches at Chaparral High School and wrote this piece originally for orchestra and choir. We commissioned him to write a piano and choir version, which we are premiering here and has never been heard before. Following that will be my arrangement of the classic folk hymn, Danny Boy, one of my favorite tunes. You may, if you were here last year, have seen me sing it as a solo, and so now you'll get to hear my vision for what it sounds like with choir. I originally wrote that back in 2010 for a group called the Auburn Community Chamber Choir in Maine, but that group disbanded before we were able to perform that particular piece, so it had never been actually performed before. I collaborated with our wonderful pianist, Mary Wagner, in getting a nice version for piano and choir, which we're going to hear tonight. Both of those songs are mournful, hopeful, loving, ballad, love song type songs that speak of young love, but also the loss of love in different contexts. Sally Gardens is a story that you'll be familiar with if you've seen the musical Grease. Summer Lovin', yeah? You meet a girl and you like her and she likes you too, but you're not quite sure how long this is gonna last. So the main character in Sally Gardens falls in love, falls very, very hard, and the girl he falls for him too, but she bids him to take love easy as the leaves grow on the tree. And he is young and foolish and does not listen to her and ends up full of tears and heartbroken. The idea that love is worth having, but sometimes it's going to be lost, and that's okay. Sometimes you just have a person in your life for a season, or a job for a season, or a choir for a season, hopefully for many, many seasons. But the loss can sometimes be painful, but if you know that it's coming, then don't let yourself convince yourself that it's going to last forever. Don't lie to yourself. Little voice in your head that says, oh, I'm sure it'll be fine, I'll just ignore them. It's not gonna be fine. Don't ignore it. You know. Danny Boy touches that love loss from a different angle, as I'm sure we're all familiar with that tune, the loss of a loved one. The harmonies, in particular the alto line, really bring out the dissonance and pain in those phrases, but we do have a nice triumphant return to the main melody and a feeling of hope that comes through the end of the piece. I hope that you enjoy both of these. Sally Gardens by Nathan Richard, followed by Danny Boy by Topher Keene.
Down by the Sally Gardens.
as a composer for choirs, it is very, very difficult because the vision you have in your head requires dozens of bodies to make manifest, whereas if you are creating a song for a flute, for a piano, for a violin, you can get one or two people together or maybe even play it yourself. When you need to write for a group of musicians, you require people who not only have the skill to bring it to life, but also trust you enough in order to make that performance happen and believe in you enough to sing your music. And then you require an audience that trusts you enough to share that with you as well. So thank you so much. That was really beautiful. I wanted to share with you a few things going into our concert today about the power of singing and the importance of group singing. Time magazine recently reported on Chorus America's Choral Impact Study. There's a few numbers that you might find interesting. There are over 270,000 choirs in the United States, with over 42 million singers. 1 in 5 US Americans either sings in a choir or has a person living in their home that sings in a choir. So one of the things I thought was really interesting when I read that is 42 million, wow, there's about 350, 400 million people in the United States, so that's pretty good numbers, but you do the math, and 42 million, you divide that by 270,000, that's about 100, 150 people per choir? It looks like 60. I don't know where I could find enough people to get us up to the national average. So, we're going to welcome you to sing a song with us as well. One of the things that is very challenging for me as a choir director, my biggest job in every place I go is recruitment, is making the choirs get bigger. And if you've come to the last 4 seasons of Fountain of the Sun, I hope you've noticed there are a few more bodies on stage than there were when I started. That's part of the job of a good director. But the challenge for a new choir singer is that this is a big ask to jump into a choir rehearsal. There's so much going on, there's so many people, there's so many words and things you don't know and things you haven't done. And if you haven't sung since childhood, it's a big ask. It's very uncomfortable to jump into that. So right here, whenever there are multiple people gathered together, we have the opportunity to create an impromptu choir. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing a song. The audience is going to sing that song, or the choir rather, is going to sing that song back to you, and then you are going to sing that song with the choir. There's a few things we're going to do to make that singing sound even better. The first thing we're going to do is sit up nice and tall. We don't want slouched bodies. Thank you very much. Roll those shoulders back, open up that rib cage. Your breath is what powers up your voice. Your breath is what powers up your voice. You need a nice elevated rib cage there. You want to keep your neck nice and relaxed. You don't want a very tight neck, because a tight neck means a tight voice. We want a nice, open, relaxed voice. Thank you very much. We want to smile and keep our eyes open when we sing. We don't want to sit like this when we sing. We want to be nice and bright and tell the story with our faces. Very nice, very nice. Wonderful. There's some amazing things that happen when you sing with a group of people. When these people sing together, not only does their breathing line up, that's pretty obvious, but their heartbeats start to line up too, and their brain waves start to go in sync as well. And also, your brain starts releasing a whole body of chemicals that make you feel amazing. You get some oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, the same hormone that comes out during childbirth or during the honeymoon. You also get a nice flood of dopamine and serotonin that give you those feel-goods. You also get the endorphins. You're literally getting high while you're singing with other people. It's the same exact chemicals going on in there, and you get a nice drop in your cortisol levels, which is that primary stress hormone. So you feel relaxed, you feel connected, you feel community, you feel some love, and you get to feel that music in your body. When you play piano, when you play a flute, you can make some beautiful sounds, but when the music is coming from inside of you, you can feel it vibrating inside that empty cavity in your chest, and it fills you with warmth. And that's what I want you to feel with us tonight. There's some other opportunities for you to sing in the rest of our concert, but right now we're going to learn a quick song together. So listen to the choir sing for you, and then you're going to sing for them. Oh, always, this guy likes to hide in different pockets every time. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Gentlemen, don't worry. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Choir? Amazing grace, how voice is nice and relaxed. That was beautiful. Notice that on that big, high, long note, they made it grow. You never want to sit on those notes. That saved a wretch like me. Me, I once was lost. Let those big notes grow so you can tell the story. You'll notice that happening in any of the slow or fast songs we do tonight. You'll see those swells. It keeps the interest there. Sit up nice and tall, put a big smile on, find your favorite chorus member and make eye contact with them. Sing to them. Sing across the hall. Amaze, amaze, ready? Here we go. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Big breath. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Pick a different chorus member, sing it one more time. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. That was beautiful. I'll let you know, this also counts as auditions for the fall season of the Fountain of Sun Choir. And y'all got in. Good job. Good job. If you have fun singing with us tonight, we will do a little bit more singing together. We'd love to invite you to join us for our fall season coming up in October. So you can come up and grab your favorite chorus member for more info about that after the concert. Next up, two more tunes from the composers in my network. First is a piece called How Great Thou Art by Michael Payan. This is a really beautiful arrangement of the classic hymn tune with a nice pairing of the Holy, Holy, Holy melody as well. You'll hear a nice contrast between the men's sections and the women's sections when they get their own melodies to show off with. It's a really beautiful text and beautiful song that's had a lot of meaning for me in this season. It's very hard for me, and I think for all of us in modern society, because it seems like all you ever hear is the bad news. You hear about all the terrible things happening, and the war, and the destruction, and the politics, and the children, and the guns, and the everything. And it's easy to forget that there's also some really good, amazing things in the world, too. There's a lot of really beautiful things. You know, I work with kids, I get to work with my wonderful people here as well. I get to work with music every day, and I get to see the love and the laughter and the light in people's eyes. You get to see people who are with their families, or you get to see people who just playing with, I have a new puppy. You get to see how happy a puppy is to see you when you get home. You remember there's some really beautiful things in the world. And it's so easy to get caught up in the news of the day and to forget the fact that the world is better right now than it's ever been. Violence is lower than it's been ever before. The UN set a goal in 2000 to halve poverty between 2000 and 2015. They accomplished that by 2013. We've more than half the amount of absolute poverty in the world. Over 200,000 people are brought out of poverty every single day. Over 300,000 people are attached to the electric grid every single day. The little device in your pocket that you might be looking at right now because the conductor's a little boring is connected to all of the knowledge, all the information, all the connection in the world. The greatest kings and pharaohs of Egypt, the greatest kings of Europe could never have dreamed of the power you have in your pocket. It's amazing, and everyone around the world has them. It's incredible. We live in a beautiful world. And beyond that, there are so many beautiful things out there. I grew up in Maine, 6 feet winters, 6 feet of snow every winter. I come out here, there's sunshine, and it's 60 degrees in the middle of December. What a beautiful world. There's flamingos, there's rhinos, there's giraffes, there's incredible, amazing things all around the world. Elon Musk wants to get us to Mars by 2024. It's amazing. So, when I sing this song, How Great Thou Art, you think of the glory of the world, the beauty of the universe, the greatness of God, whatever your belief system, remembering that despite how difficult things can get sometimes, there's also some really amazing stuff out there in the world. And music is one of those things. The fact that we can be here together, sharing songs, having a room full of hundreds of people who paid money to listen to a group of people sing old hymn songs, that's insane! And it's wonderful. And I'm so grateful you're here. So next we have How Great Thou Art by Michael Payan, followed by I Was Glad by Canadian composer Alice Dearden. I hope you enjoy. Lord my God, when I in awesome concert, the choir asks me to perform a vocal solo for them as well. I have had a challenge in my life of appearing a little egotistical, self-centered, arrogant. Don't know if you can tell, I'm very confident and project a lot of enthusiasm. So singing solos in my own choir concerts doesn't exactly help with that image, but I love them very much and they ask me to do it every time. So I have to give this disclaimer so you know that I'm not asking to do this, they are asking me. However, I do love to sing and I'm happy to share a song with you. It's one of my favorite hymn tunes, How Can I Keep From Singing? Absolutely beautiful song I fell in love with back in my early 20s, and the lyrics just really spoke to my heart. My life flows on an endless song above earth's lamentation. How can I keep from singing? Given all the beauty and wonder in the world, given how lucky we are to be here, given how lucky we are that vocal cords even work to produce music at all, we have an obligation to share our songs. What we do here really matters. There's someone in the choir right now who may have just gotten a really rough diagnosis, who may have lost a family member who's close to them. There's someone in the audience here who needs to hear a song today. There's someone in the audience here who really needed that singing. And maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was really embarrassing and uncomfortable for you, but the person next to you might have really needed it. And maybe your voice was a part of what made a difference for them tonight. So I hope when you hear these songs that you're not just here because there's someone up there that you love and that you care about, that you're also here because the music means something to you too. And given how wonderful and lucky this beautiful experience is tonight, how wonderful it is to have all of you here, I don't know how I could more express that than to say, how can I keep from singing? I hope you enjoy. My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm when to that rock I'm clinging. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest round me rears? I know the truth it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm when to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is Lord of heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble sick with fear and hear their death knells ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? In prison cell or dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The last piece I'm sharing from our contemporary living composers from the publishing company I sponsor is a piece called It's Me, O Lord, Standing in the Need of Prayer. You might recognize the melody there. This one we premiered at our last spring concert. It was actually an original commission for the Fountain of the Sun chorus, but it has been performed by several choirs now around the United States since then. So some original Fountain of the Sun music is making its way across the United States, which is pretty cool. We had such a fun time with this. It was our concert closer last season. We thought we'd bring it back for you. This will be our memorized piece on the program, so you'll notice that they're not reading from their sheet music while they sing it. That's because their hands need to be free to clap, and you are welcome to clap along. This will be a little easier than the singing along we did earlier, so you should be even more enthusiastic. So as soon as you see their hands going up, that's your cue to start clapping. Just pay attention to when the clapping stops, because it does stop before the end of the song. Try your best, but that's okay, so please clap. And enjoy It's Me, Oh Lord by Andrew Hurst, local Arizona composer. Second solo of the night, and a chance for me to catch my breath. The wonderful Miss Mary Wagner, our accompanist, will be performing for you a wonderful Mark Hayes arrangement. Really took down the house earlier this afternoon, so I'm excited for you to hear it. Very exciting piece. I've just been so thrilled to work with Mary. It was a very big loss when we lost Sam Fleming last season. He's gone on to a great job in a different state, but we really had a great relationship, and I was worried I wouldn't find another accompanist that would get what I'm trying to accomplish here. In case you can't notice, this can be a lot to work with. So when I sat with Mary in that Starbucks a few months ago, we just clicked immediately. We were there for well over an hour just talking about life and music and career and relationships and everything. And it's been such a pleasure working with her. She's a very well-accomplished music educator, having taught choirs for most of her life, and now plays for this choir as well, and has really become a mentor and a very dear friend in my life. I've been so honored to work with her, making her blush right before her solo. It's an absolute joy. She's a commensurate musician. I really hope you enjoy her solo. Take it off, Mary. That was absolutely wonderful. It's she's the only one who doesn't get a break all night. She's just got to keep going the whole time. So we are so lucky to have her. This is a very long day. We just had our matinee earlier this afternoon. We do have another concert tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. If you had fun tonight, promise you'll have just as much fun tomorrow night, if not even more. So we'd love to see you back. Right now we have Dale Koppelman over here joining us on the flute. We're so thrilled to have him again. We've had him play for previous concerts as well, and hope you really enjoy this. Our next set has 3 songs in it, 2 that are paired together. Song of the Sea is our first one here. A song for sailors, a song about leaving home on an adventure to find yourself, and longing for home, but realizing that home you once knew is never quite the same. My mom was here just a little while ago. We just got dinner together, and we were reminiscing about how the town that I grew up in is not the same town at all. I mean, she grew up in that same town that I grew up in, and it wasn't the same by the time I was a kid. It was nowhere near the same as when she grew up. But now, the last time I went back there, my old elementary school, I went to it's like, oh, I'll go visit my elementary teachers. And of course, they're not still teaching there 25 years later. But I go to my old elementary school, and it's become apartment buildings. But what's interesting is they didn't demolish it, they just turned the classrooms into apartments. So I could go have my 3rd grade classroom as my apartment home if I wanted to now, which is very strange. But the point of what I'm trying to say is that we have this nostalgia for home, for what it felt like to be a child, to be rocked in mom's arms, the taste of grandma's cooking, and that world is gone. There's no way to get back to that world. You can go back home and visit, but it's not the same when you're not a kid anymore. That feeling is inside. That feeling's in your heart. And while you may lose it in the physical world, you never have to lose it here. You never have to lose those memories. You can hold on to them. Song of the Sea is a song about going off on that adventure and trying to find yourself. And it ends with a very somber note saying, there's no home for the sailor on the sea or the sand. You never feel at home on the ship because you're always longing for home, and you never feel at home when you're back home because you just want to be back out on the adventure. There's a quote that comes to mind with that song every time, that a ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships were made for. So you have to go on that adventure and find yourself. You have to pack up and try something new and try something adventurous, but never lose that sense of home in your heart. The second song, Hills of Home, really touches on that feeling. It's a longing for home back in Ireland, Scotland, back in the old country, thinking back to family and to community and to small families and to small towns. It's a really, really beautiful text, and I really hope you enjoy both of those. We'll then close that set with a song called Light Shine, which is an arrangement of an African-American spiritual called Keep Your Lamps, based on the Jesus parable of the bridesmaids and the bridegroom. Those who kept their lamps trimmed and burning were ready when the bridegroom arrived. Those who did not were not pleased with their fate. So the song tells you to keep your lamp ready, keep yourself ready, keep yourself prepared, because sometimes wonderful things happen, and sometimes they're very unexpected. A career opportunity, a romantic opportunity, sometimes someone comes into your life and you weren't ready for them yet, but you need to be. Because you can't plan for those moments that change your life. But also on the other side, on the dark side, on those terrible, tragic things that happen in all of our lives. I know that there are many people in this room who are dealing with a difficult diagnosis, who are dealing with the loss of a family member, who are dealing with struggles financially, career-wise, dealing with just leaving the career altogether and trying to find out what this stage of your life is going to mean. A lot of people who join the chorus come there because they're looking for something to give them meaning now that they've left the thing that gave them meaning for so long, their career. So you don't always know when those moments are going to happen. You don't always know when tragedy is going to strike, and there's no way to prepare so much that nothing goes wrong. The choir knows that. We've had mistakes in every single concert we've done together. Mary's had mistakes, I've had mistakes, Dale's had mistakes, every one of them. It's had something go wrong, and you can't prepare them away. No matter how much you rehearse, no matter how much you drill, something will happen. We had 2 or 3 mistakes last concert that never happened before in 3 months of rehearsal. Never made a mistake before it shows up in the concert. That happens. But what you can prepare for is, what do you do when you make a mistake? Do you freak out? Do you shut down? Do you stop playing? Or do you keep going? The show must go on. And the same is true in our lives. We can't prepare away the possibility of tragedy. We can't be so prepared that no one will ever die in our lives. We can't be so prepared that we'll never be sick, that we'll never lose a job. But we can be prepared to deal with the tragedies when they come, so that at least we don't let it turn us into a monster. We don't let it make us take that anger and pain out on others, that we're able to absorb that tragedy and become a source of strength for others. That's what the song Light Shine and Keep Your Lamps tell us. I hope you enjoy these songs. The first is Song of the Sea featuring Dale Koppelman on the flute. Thank you. that was. That was very clever, very clever. It could have been cheesy, and you know I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm cautious about the cheesy things, but I think it was a great idea. All right, before we enter the tail end of our program, we're going to do a little bit more singing together. So get ready, roll those shoulders back, open up those bodies. Here we go again. I know. But, singing together is one of the most beautiful things in the world, and it's something that is so dear to my heart. I say what you will about the solo singing. I don't care. The solo singing is like playing tennis. Like, it's fun, but it's a hobby. What really lights my soul on fire is being with these people, and I'll tell you, it's true for all of them as well. And it's something that's so hard because you can't get that feeling without other people in the room. You can't get that feeling without other people with you, taking that breath with you, working with you, singing with you. And when they don't, and when they don't care, and when they do it lazily, even if they're there, it pulls you out of the experience. You can't enjoy it as much. So this may not be a thing for you. That's okay. I know there's a lot of people here who are here because there's someone up there they love, and they want to see them, they want to support them, but choir music, it's not exactly the thing you're playing on the CD in the car when you're driving down the highway. I'm aware it's a specialized genre. I know. But, give it a chance and see if it makes you feel something special. And maybe it's a once-a-year thing. Maybe it's a Fountain of the Sun chorus concert, you show up and you sing with us and that's enough. Maybe you sing along with the patriotic songs at Veterans Day. Maybe you sing with the Christmas carols. Maybe you sing a lullaby to your grandchild. But if you do a little bit more singing, I think you'll find it really does add a lot to your life. There's a saying that's been very close to me the last couple of weeks, that it's very easy to feel like we don't have a lot of impact in the world and our lives don't matter that much and the small things we do don't really affect the world. But when you sit down and look at it over the span of a full lifetime, you see that you connect with at least 1,000 people over the course of your life. And if you spend your life smiling and connecting with those people and trying to make their lives better and making music and making friends, you can make those 1,000 lives better. And those 1,000 people you meet are going to meet 1,000 people each, which puts you one person away from 1,000,000 and 2 people away from 1,000,000,000. You can make a huge difference in this world with very small effort. The effort to make a smile, to sing along, to give a little heart, when it's easy to just do the less than friendly things. So I encourage you to be a beacon of light in this world of darkness. And we're going to sing a little bit together. We're going to sing a song that you probably will recognize, but I'll sing it for the choir first so that you can feel comfortable. Lasso. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. And don't worry, gentlemen, swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. We got the same lesson we had in the last song, that nice big long note in the middle that we get to grow on. Listen to the choir sing it along for you once. 1, 2. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. And make sure that that last note is the sweetest, the warmest, the richest, the most beautiful note. The last note is the most important part of the phrase, and the last phrase is the most important part of the song, and the last song is the most important part of the concert. It's easy to get caught up in the meat of the experience, but that last moment is so important, and it sticks so vividly in our minds. Think back to the worst job you ever had, the worst relationship you ever had. Do you remember the good times in the middle, or do you remember the way it ended? Yeah, you can think of the most romantic, wonderful experience of your life. You meet somebody, you get wrapped up in a whirlwind romance, you take them to Disneyland, you go to the top of the Eiffel Tower, you see the moon, you eat the pizza, it's amazing. You have the cheese dripping between each other's mouths, and you're kind of like Lady and the Tramp, it's wonderful. You meet each other's parents, and you write journals to each other about how wonderful it is to have each other in your lives, and you spend months wooing them, and you go and you shop for the ring for weeks and weeks, and you find the perfect ring, and she knows it's coming, and she keeps waiting for the perfect moment. And one day you wake up together and you can smell the coffee brewing, and she wakes up and she comes over to the sink and she starts brushing her teeth, and you're sitting on the toilet with the door open, and you say, hey babe, you wanna get married? The ending matters, the ending matters. It doesn't matter how well you do all the other stuff. If you throw away the last note, you gotta sing the last note. Coming for to carry me home. Coming for to carry me home. Sing right through to that last note. Let's sing it together. Swing low. Ready? 1, 2. Swing low, sweet chariot. Coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot. Coming for to carry me home. Thank you very much. Sing after me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very, very good. You've just learned the entire harmony part. So you're going to sing in 2 parts now. It's going to be very exciting. You just need to remember the last words of this song. Carry me home, 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 coming for to carry me home. So you got to remember the very, very end, it changes to coming for to carry me home. I made this a little easier because I know there's a good number of husbands that were dragged along here and probably not huge fans of the choir music thing. So this part's a little bit easier for you if you don't want to sing that melody. Listen one more time. Carry me home, 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 coming for to carry me home. Basses and altos, sing along with me. Any low-voiced singers or people who don't like the melody that much, you're welcome to sing along with me. 1, 2, 3. Carry me home, 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 coming for to carry me home. Just remember you got that, coming for to carry me home on the top there. We'll do it one more time and then our melody's gonna join us, so just keep that going. Ready? Here we go. Carry me home, 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 carry me home. Everyone else on melody. Coming for to carry me home. Melody. Swing low me home, sweet cherry home. Carry me home, carry me home, carry me home, carry me home. Coming for to carry me home. Do it again. Swing low me home, sweet cherry home. Carry me home, carry me home, carry me home, carry me home. Coming for to carry me home. Find a friend, make eye contact and sing. Swing, carry me home, chariot. Carry me home, carry me home, carry me home, carry me home. Coming for to carry me home. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Oklahoma Community Choir Audience Choir. Thank you very much. Applause for the audience. Thank you, thank you. Bravo, bravo. You can take your bows and sign your autographs after the concert. Our last song for you is Battle Hymn of the Republic. This is a song you'll be very, very familiar with. Mary, can I get the key on that last glory, glory? Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. That's your part. You already know it. I'm glad you did your homework before you showed up to the concert. That's your part. You'll know because I'm going to turn around and then you're going to sing. It's pretty obvious. So, that comes up toward the end of the song. This song, I always try in every concert and every event we do to make sure that we have something of a patriotic nature that we can dedicate to our veterans, active duty servicemen, and servicemen past and present. My grandfather was active duty Navy. My brother is currently active duty Army. I've never served in military service, but what we do here is only made possible because most everyone else in the world does a way harder job than I do, including going overseas and getting shot at and having bombs explode in their faces. It is ludicrous that I can sing and wave my hands and that this group of people can get together and put on a show and hundreds of you will show up and be here when around the world there are people whose homes are blowing up, who are dodging bullets every day, who are fighting starvation and drought and sickness. The world isn't fair. But having spoken to many military men throughout my life, they would tell me that what we're doing here tonight, events like this, ballets, art shows, children's recitals, school art nights, concerts, all of these kind of events are the reason they're over there fighting. It's not just for the arts, it's also for the sports, it's also for the families, it's also for the barbecues, it's also for all the different events we have, for just hanging out at the pool with your family, to be able to have a day where things are okay, where you're not stressed, where you're not worried that you're gonna be hurt, where you can go out and enjoy yourself, spend an evening having some music and laughing at some goofy 20-something, and listen to some beautiful songs, and connect with some people in your community. And that's something we only get to do because other people are willing to fight and die for us. John Adams, one of our founding fathers, said that I must study war and politics so that my sons can study mathematics and philosophy, so that their sons can study art and music and poetry. And I sincerely take that as my deepest responsibility. When I was younger, I thought music was a thing I did for fun, but now I realize it is something I must do because there are people who fight and die for it every day. We dedicate this song in honor of all of our veterans, current, past, present, fallen, and still serving. Thank you so much for everything you do, and for any who are in the audience with us today, I hope that you've enjoyed this show and that you accept this tribute to our active duty servicemen. The flag will be revealed toward the end of the song when you are welcome to sing with us for Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. If you choose to stand, you are more than welcome to do so. At the end of the concert, we do have a reception over at the sides. You're welcome to join us for that. Please do leave these middle aisles clear at the end of the concert. We'll be leading the choir out the back through those aisles. So leave that clear, but feel free to make eye contact and shake hands and wave as we walk by. Thank you again so much for a wonderful concert. I really appreciate you being here. If you'd like to see us again, we're here tomorrow at 7, and then we're back in December for another concert season. We start up in October if you'd like to sing with us. And every voice I heard here sounds absolutely beautiful. I'd love to have you with us. Thank you again. This is the Fountain of the Sun Choir. Battling under the bubble.